Thing is, though, and I'd be interested to see your perspective on this point. I don't think the creative buck stops at artistry. I don't think if you express to someone, you say you're a really creative person, we constitute that as photography, art, drawing, music, these sort of things. I would argue that creativity is more. It's ephemeral in its sort of position anywhere. I don't think creativity is specifically toward art. I think you can find creativity in anything.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I would wage on that point of sort of why do people do jobs that, be it the nurse that the aforementioned nurse, or your Warren Buffett who's happy to look at a trading scale or chart for 10 hours a day. I think it's that. I think there's a part of the mind that is specifically geared towards finding creativity in some way, shape or form. And I think creativity, even on that, it's like, I would wage that creativity and problem solving are very close entwined when it comes to the mind, because it's that idea of pulling together resources. What do I have in my brain that I can push out as to deal with what's in front of me? If you've got writer's block when you're writing a poem, what do? You look for the resources within your head of how can I solve this problem? Well, one could argue that when you're getting your tyre iron out and you're taking your car wheel off, if this is something you'd never done before, you're still pulling on those same resources.
Yeah.
Creativity, I think, is one of those things where we say, or I have said, that it's something that some people have in abundance and some people are more deficient of. But I think it's just that reframe of some people's idea of creativity is different to others.
I like what you said about problem solving, and how that, I think every industry has problem solving, obviously. Every life, every day has, people come across problems all the time. And I think, like you said about fixing the car and you haven't done it before, even if you do a bit of a bodge job, or you're trying to fix something in your house, there's a thought process that goes, I don't know what exactly the right way to do this, or I don't know exactly what the right way is to get the best result, but I'm going to use my mind and think of the different outcomes and what is the best decision that I can do right now for me, whatever. And I think problem solving, because of that reason, is a massive creative outlet for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's so many people that have jobs in problem solving, literally, hospitality,
anything,
nursing.
Yeah. I think as well, interestingly enough, even if your job is not rooted in sort of orthodox creativity, we all love the art behind creativity. Who doesn't love music? Who doesn't love a good movie? Who doesn't love to get up and dance, even maybe on their own in their kitchen, if you're me? We all, there is a part of the human psyche that is deeply engrossed in the idea of expression, and those two are hand in hand. Do you get creative blocks?
Yeah.
How do you deal with them?
I don't know. A lot of the time, it is a waiting game for me, and it's kind of just. A lot of it isn't creative blocks. A lot of it is just kind of a slight dip in passion. I think when I do something a lot, it starts to get a bit tiring and boring, and I just want to go and do something else. So a lot of the time, I will just, if I've had a busy week of filming or planning for a film, or maybe I've just been actually doing paid work, taking photos of, like I said earlier, the some arts and crafts stuff for a business. I'm bored of looking at this.
Yeah.
I think that's more it, the boredom, rather than of worrying about not being able to come up with something creative. A lot of it is just going and doing something else.
So you would, toward the side of, if it's not flowing, move away, come back.
Yeah, definitely, because I think the flow state comes from like concentration and enthusiasm for it.
It's not knowing that you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't force it. It's creativity is essentially ideas coming to you, and you can't force that. So I think a lot of it is, the approach isn't to, well, a lot of the time if I need to do something or I'm trying to get inspiration from stuff, it would be very much that, go and find inspiration. And a lot of the time that does help kind of enable me to think. A lot of the time I have an idea of what I want to convey with a photo, most of the time with a film or cinematography, and it might be that I just don't know technically how to do it, or I don't know quite how I want it to look, and I think this inspiration helps a lot with that. But in terms of just being like, say you're writing a script for a film and you don't have any ideas, and you're trying to come up with something original, there's no, I mean, you can try and put yourself in a position to be inspired, but I think a lot of it is just take a break.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be your best thing if you're not like 100% interested in.
Exactly. It calls back to that, the friction that comes if you don't actually constitute it as your
I bet
joy.
It's probably the same when you do music and stuff.
Yeah.
If you were to do a 100-day challenge of making a song every day, that would get really tiring really quickly, and the work would become probably worse because of it. And
you'll carry on. You'll be pushing things out. But
and it would probably be quite repetitive as well.
Yeah, it would be.
In terms of not only your day, but the stuff you produce is probably going to be quite similar, because you haven't given yourself time to be inspired by new things.
Yeah, you need. That's the thing I love about creative acts, is you're pulling from the world all the time. It's I saw something there that I quite like that, or I want to talk about that, or I want to take a photo of that. You know, it's as you say, without that stimulation that occurs as a result of just walking through the world and seeing things. You're not going to change anything. As you say, you're going to take the same picture, you're going to write the same song.
Yeah.
I would approach the creative block like I would approach a 3-point turn, where it's like, you don't, if you can't get out, you're not just going to carry on driving forward. You're going to take a step back, and then you're going to go again. And you might have to take another step back and go again. It's that, I think it's very easy when you're trying to make something to think that the more output you do, the better it will be.